Hi folks, John Dunn here, RPG freelancer, publisher behind Melior Via. I am up here tonight at Immortals Inc. with Mikey.
Hello, John. What is up, world? What do we have here on our plate today?
Well, I thought we'd talk about a licensed RPG today.
Ooh.
And it's one from a fairly hot Netflix property that I don't know if you've checked out.
I haven't.
Have you heard of The Dragon Prince?
No.
So that is an anime series that was created by one of the lead writers from Avatar: The Last Airbender. So
Wow.
if you dug Avatar, you might want to check out The Dragon Prince. There's 4 seasons of it out there right now. I've watched some of it. I think it's pretty slick and well done. It's a kind of evocative fantasy setting that, doesn't just strictly follow a lot of the stuff you're accustomed to seeing in fantasy, which can also make it a really cool role-playing setting. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So this was written by Cam Banks and Dan Telfer. This is The Dragon Prince Tales of Xadia. It's powered by Cortex, and Wonderstorm is, I believe, it's actually published by Fandom under license from Wonderstorm, which is the name of the production company behind Dragon Prince. Now, this rule system I mentioned, it's Cortex Prime. Cortex Prime is a rule system that's been around for a little while. Margaret Weis Publishing is the company that originally got it going. Margaret Weis doesn't do game publishing anymore, but when they had the Supernatural game, the Serenity game, also the Firefly, I think, version of the Serenity game, the Supernatural, did I say that already?
Yeah.
Maybe? Okay.
Supernatural? Wait, no. That was...
Battlestar Galactica, and a few other licensed games.
I think Supernatural is one of those too.
Yeah. Serenity, Battlestar Galactica, Marvel, Smallville, Leverage, different iterations of Cortex. There was Cortex Classic, Plus, and Prime. After Margaret Weis Productions stopped doing Cortex, in 2017, Cam Banks' company, Magic Vacuum, did a Kickstarter to launch their own iteration of it. Then that was sold to Fandom Tabletop, and now it's part of Direwolf Digital, who are actually, I think, the money people behind this now. It's a dice pool system, but a small dice pool one, roll and keep. It has some similarities to Savage Worlds, if you're familiar with that. The setting is licensed from Wonderstorm. Like I mentioned, it is a Netflix series. It is fantasy. There's 4 seasons, about 9 episodes each. Very bingeable. The 4th season just came out. And there's 3 more seasons confirmed. So if you're getting into it now, there's still more to come.
Is it gory or is it just like...
No, it's not gory at all. It's kind of tone-wise similar to Avatar.
Okay.
Which is, not a shock, right? The book starts off with an introduction to Xadia. It talks about the conflict between the humans and the elves and dragons over magic. Basically, humans have been isolated deliberately by the dragons and elves from the rest of them for centuries. But contact has returned through war. After that, there's an intro to the Cortex system, runs about 12 pages, talks about the attributes and skills, how they're rated in dice. You take the best 2 from a pool to determine success on any roll, and then you also have to set a difficulty. There are plot points which refer to your character's luck, maybe any special abilities they have, and damage, when your character suffers it, works as a penalty die. After we get through the Cortex system, there's a 32-page gazetteer that discusses the human kingdoms, the border between the human kingdoms and the rest of Xadia, where the elves are dominant. Talks about the 6 different types of elves, the 7 different types of dragons, and the various fantastic creatures. There is a 72-page player's guide after that, which takes you through character creation, and there are 13 sample characters that are mentioned here and then included in an appendix at the back of the book. I believe they're also available in a PDF if you just want to print them off for yourselves instead of ripping your book apart. And those characters are really convenient because if you just want to sit down and play, you don't have to go through character creation. You can just grab those characters. Player's Guide also then includes game mechanics and talks about journal goals and as your growth system for how characters can develop. It's kind of a functional experience point development system, but it's really very character centric and that the characters are going to set their own goals and drive to achieve them. After that, we get into magic, and magic is a really big part of this setting. Dragons and elves have their own inherent magic based on their connection to primal forces. This is their primal magic, their rune magic. Humans don't have that connection, so they can only do dark magic, which is basically sacrificial. They have to find something with this primal magic and kill it to power their own magic.
Oh, classic darkness.
Yep. And then there's a few sample magical items in this chapter as well. After that, we get into a narrator's guide, runs 48 pages, covers GM advice, covers catalysts, which are key non-player characters, and then gives some rules and samples. Discusses the idea of scenes and tests in a contest, and talks about how you might get a chronicle or a campaign going. After that, there's a 30-page sample adventure, and then a fairly lengthy appendix, 60 pages, that covers sample characters, gives you reference materials, and a very detailed index, and the material you need to set up your character journals. This is from White Wolf Digital and Fandom, 300 pages in hardcover, full color, and $50. And they do use a fair bit of artwork right out of the anime series. It's really slick and sharp looking, and it does take advantage of the license quite nicely to do that.
Do you recommend watching the series before diving into this?
You wouldn't have to, but I think a lot of the material, particularly the magic section, is going to be a lot more intuitive if you've already taken the time to dive into that world setting. Not that your players would have to, but you're going to have a better handle on it. And really, if you like the series, it's going to be another reason to get into this.
Well said, my friend. Heard him.
Till next time, folks, good gaming.
Peace.